Let me just start with saying this. I love to learn. I love to teach other people things I learn. Here's something I discovered a long time ago. Hitting is easy. It's easy to hit a baseball or a softball. Whenever I was a lot younger, I used to attend a lot of coaching clinics. I watched a lot of hitting videos. And a common saying I heard then, and I still hear now, echoing in our hitting community is this. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. Let me say that one more time. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. Let me tell you what I've learned from years and years of training, observing, and watching and researching. Are you ready? Hitting is not the hardest thing to do in all of sports. That's a pretty general statement, isn't it? Hitting is the hardest thing to do in all sports. The truth is, hitting a baseball is easy. If you just took an average person and threw them batting practice on an open field, just start counting how many times they missed the ball. Most people will hit the baseball. But we're told hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in all of sports. Let me make a correction to that statement. Hitting a baseball is easy, but getting a scored hit in a real baseball game is very difficult. Getting a scored hit in a live game when the ball is coming in at an unpredictable speed and in not a consistent space, this is difficult. Personally, I think as a hitting community, we need to stop brainwashing our players in thinking and believing that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing in all sports. Hitting a baseball is actually easy. What may be harder to do in all sports is throwing a baseball at 95 miles an hour or throwing a baseball at 100 miles an hour. Heck, it may be harder to run a 60-yard dash at a 6.5 or 6.4 or 6.3. There's not too many athletes that can perform those skills. Here's how you make hitting easy. Teach the players what hitting really is. At face value, hitting is a hand-to-eye coordination. But more accurately stated, it's an eye-to-hand coordination. When we teach our players that hitting is more about an eye-to-hand coordination, you'll see faster hitting development. Allow me to give you an elementary scientific viewpoint of hand-to-eye coordination. Or more accurately stated, eye-to-hand coordination. The hand moves to an object or space. The eyes are controlling the hand and telling the hand where to go. The brain controls the eyes. The brain tells the eyes when to get in position and where to go to get into position. As hitting coaches, I've been there. I've been stuck on watching hitting mechanics. And I'll be the first to tell you, hitting mechanics are very important. But a better understanding about hitting mechanics is to look at them as hitting movements and movement patterns. These hitting patterns are controlled and ruled by the sensory fibers in our brain. And do you know what is connected to those sensory fibers? Your eyes. Now remember, the correct scientific psychological definition is properly stated, it's eye-to-hand coordination. Listen carefully to these next few sentences. The brain and vision. Approximately 70% of all sensory fibers to the brain begin in the eye. This is more than twice the neural input of all other senses combined. The visual system is represented in every major lobe of the brain, as well as the midbrain and brain stem. You can only hit when the information picked up by your optic nerve is processed by your brain and then transmitted accurately to your body. If your eyes can't pick it up, then you can forget about good results. Ichiro Suzuki. Well, if you're still hanging on, thank you very much. From time to time, someone will comment on my videos, "Dave, you're making this too complicated." And my response is I just shake my head and say to myself, they don't understand. Step into the batting cage with me. Watch me and listen to me how I break this down for a 9-year-old to understand. I break this down to a level for a 9, 10, 11-year-old to understand thoroughly so they can even make application of this information. So they can go back home and tell their mom or dad what they learned in baseball class today. It's only taken me years to realize this. The concepts and principles I share with hitters that revolve around hitting timing and hitting spatial awareness is really an advanced approach to hand-to-eye coordination, but more accurately stated, it's an advanced approach to eye-to-hand coordination. You want to improve your hitting performance, then start studying what is hand-to-eye coordination. When you go to home plate, look at hitting for what it really is at its face value. Hitting is a skill that requires eye-to-hand coordination. Are you ready for this? I tell players in batting practice, don't even think about your bat. Don't think about your swing, and don't think about swinging hard. Did you hear what I just said? Can you imagine a hitting coach telling the hitter, don't try to swing hard? Now, replace it with this. Think about the ball. Think about where the ball is coming from and where the ball is going to. Think about intersecting the ball, much like what Barry Bonds said he did. He just thought about catching the ball with his bat. That's another way of looking at it in ways of intersecting the ball. Tell the hitter to intersect the ball with your eyes. Tell the hitter to hit the ball with your eyes. And you know what you're going to discover? You're going to discover that all the results that you want, bat speed, launch angle, more consistency, hitting solid hits, they all start to happen. And you're not even trying. You see, what I've learned over the years is this. Elite hitters, no matter what they say to and what they comes out of their mouths, elite hitters are thinking faster than the ball is moving. When you watch elite hitters, their eyes are moving faster than the ball is moving. And the only way to get your eyes to move faster than the ball is moving is to get your brain to move faster than the ball. And the only way to get your brain to move faster than the ball, you have knowledge, you have an understanding of simple hand-to-eye coordination, or more accurately stated, eye-to-hand coordination. Now, before you run off to do more eye-to-hand coordination drills, like bouncing a ball off a tennis racket or hitting nails with a hammer, don't bother. To master hand-eye coordination as a hitter, you need to hit more baseballs and begin to master the sequencing and the movement patterns the ball is making. I'm Dave Kirilloff, languageofhitting.com. Let's go. It doesn't matter if your son is an awful hitter. It doesn't matter if your son is an awesome hitter. He needs this information. Many players think, hey, you know what? I don't need to hear that stuff. I'm already hitting great. I'm already hitting good. Guess what? I'm talking from experience. You will need this. When you're facing that elite pitcher, guess what? Knowledge creates confidence. You won't be confused or fumbling while you're at home plate. This training, this system will help you to learn how to make in-game adjustments, in-bat adjustments, in-count adjustments before the next pitch comes. Adjustments to your eye-to-hand coordination. Let's go. Your clock is ticking. I want to help you to be as good as you can be while you're still young.